Hello and good day to all friends. This is Mujtaba Rasti from the Thales team, and today is November 27th, 2025. I'm here with a morning analysis of Bitcoin situation. Please keep in mind, as always, that these analyses are purely educational and informational. If you use them to take positions in the market, the responsibility for any profit or loss is entirely yours. As usual, we filtered the trades since yesterday, from November 26th up to now, for the session on November 28th in the first database. As you can see, there's a possibility for movement in both directions, but considering the depth of delta penetration on the downside, a move in that direction seems more likely. The upper target is set at 98,500 and the lower at 86,600. Among buyers, put buyers dominate, seeing profits below 88,200. Call buyers see profits above 89,700, which has actually happened. Among sellers, put sellers are slightly more, and they expect a floor at 87,700. Call sellers have predicted a ceiling at 93,000, which has also been reached. So it seems we've reached a relatively tough area, and we can expect a correction to the downside. Let's move on to the next chart. The processed trades in the database have been reviewed. You can see the situation is completely bullish. Traders see above 89,200 as bullish, and that's where we are now, so that's been realized. If you look at the end of the delta, this second dashed line is at the end of the delta path. We've almost reached its peak. And here, these call purchases you see, the delta shows this is basically the end of the line. Alright, so here we're seeing a bullish situation, indicating that the market is trending upward. Let's move on to the next slide. By moving the slider forward and considering the trades from the start of today, you can see that the curve is showing us more of a put selling situation. The bottom of this put selling is around 88,400, the peak profit of this curve is about 94,000, and the end of the delta movement downward, right here, where we've marked it with a blue arrow, shows that the downward delta movement of call selling has pretty much come to an end. In fact, the number it shows us is around 95,500. So even this curve again shows that the runaway bullishness we could interpret from our curve here is indicating that there will be a pause in the areas we've pointed out. Let's go to the next slide. In the next slide, considering the November 29th expiration, which is Saturday in this database, you can see that volatility still dominates, but the highs and lows of the volatility have actually moved upward. The ceiling has moved to about 98,000, the peak profit of the curve to 96,000, and the bottom to 91,500. This itself shows that for Saturday, we can actually expect the bullish trend to continue. Let's move on to the next slide. Here, you can see the intersection of the buyer and seller option charts. The agreement point is shown at 91,800 on the upper side and 87,160 on the lower side. The upper agreement is in profit and has formed the agreement zone, which could also be seen a few hours ago. I think we've moved up to about these numbers, around 91,000 and a bit more. So here we can again consider a higher probability for a move downward. The agreement zone, with the agreement being in profit, means we can actually expect a higher chance of a downward move. Now let's go to the indicator. We've entered the points into the indicator for tomorrow, and you can see that the indicator bands have turned bullish. The overall trend in the indicator is also bullish for now. The highs and lows have moved upward quite strongly after a period of ranging here, and now the highs and lows are moving up with good momentum. So overall, this supports a bullish expectation. Here, pay attention to the fact that this sudden bullish move has pushed past the green band. That's why we expect a correction and a pullback back into the space between the two bands. Naturally, this pullback could be down to around 87,000 or 88,000. Let's move on to the next slide. Alright, in this slide you can see that we filtered for contracts over 100 Bitcoin for tomorrow. As you can see, the curve is completely bullish and sees profits above around 89,000, which, as you can see, has already happened here. As you can also see from the delta here, a bullish move has occurred. We're here now at the end of the delta, and considering the end of the delta, which you can see here with the red arrow, this bullish move could continue up to about 92,400. Moving the slider forward doesn't really change the shape of the curve much, meaning that reviewing trades from the start of today and the entry of trades in the recent hour doesn't make a big difference, and the curve still has a bullish sentiment. Next slide. So here, in the summary of trades, among the 100 Bitcoin trades we reviewed, we found 3 bullish spreads with a total value of 600 Bitcoin, which had considered 90,100 as the peak profit. You can see that this number has also been achieved in the bullish move we've seen. So this bullish move for tomorrow has been realized. You can also see the trades, all of which were entered yesterday, all yesterday afternoon around 7:30 p.m., and you can see that they've now managed to realize their profits. Another point, which maybe I should have mentioned in the previous slide, is that if we consider trades of 50 Bitcoin and above for Saturday's expiry, there are 2 put-sell trades at 96,000, which I found very interesting. Since there were only a few, I didn't include their slide. So for Saturday, there are 2 put-sell trades that I think were entered today, and they've set the floor for Saturday at a strike of about 96,000. If we looked at our curve, below 91,000, they would be at a loss, meaning they've raised the floor for Saturday, and, as we said, we can expect a bullish trend for Saturday. Here you can see the liquidity heat map. The image shows the 48-hour heat map, and you can see that there's a significant amount of liquidity from 85,000 to 87,000. It's very prominent and could attract the price towards it. On the upside, up to about 93,000, there's also a volume of liquidity. It seems that, considering 93,000 is now close to us, 92,000 and some change, and our trend is currently in a bullish excitement phase, it seems likely that we could have a liquidity hunt upwards to around 92,500 or 93,000, and then move downwards, meaning we might see a correction towards 86,000 to 87,000. In conclusion, considering the dominance of call buyers and put sellers in the trades, which still hasn't been fully realized, and the view of call buyers and sellers that has been realized so far, it seems we can expect a move down to around 86,000, 87,000. But overall, the outlook still seems bullish. For Saturday, as I mentioned, regarding those who sold puts at a 96,000 strike, the market still looks bullish, and we expect to see support at 86,000 to 87,000, and from there, the price could move towards 94,000 and 96,000. I think it was yesterday, too, that we mentioned in our discussion that there was a very large iron condor strategy. Back then, I mentioned 16,000, but apparently there was another iron condor with each leg at 1,000 Bitcoin, which I hadn't seen. So in total, 20,000 Bitcoin iron condors have been seen for the end of December, with a fluctuation range between, I think, 106,000 to 110,000 or 112,000, something like that. And it had seen profit within that range. So, considering these perspectives, it seems that the price reversal has slowly started. Thanks for your attention. I hope this was useful, and until the next afternoon analysis, goodbye.